welcome to Cosplay Stitch and Seam. I'm Pannon.
I'm V-Fire.
And I'm David.
Hello, David.
Why, thank you, Patton. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, hello.
I'm not. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh. I was going to be like, I missed you guys, and it's not like I didn't talk to you yesterday.
Just yesterday to play our fantastic D&D game that I'm
Yeah.
absolutely just having so much fun with, but I'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show, all you lovely listeners at home. If you would like to contact us, there are several ways you can do that. The first is by email. You can do that at cosplaystitchandseam@gmail.com
Or you can go to the website, cosplaystitchandseam.com, and fill out the googly Google form, or
Go to the Facebook page and send us your messages there. Join our fantastic community for our Work in Progress Wednesdays, or if you want to join our Discord, which we now have a new channel called Finished Fridays. And it's just an opportunity to show off your finished cosplays.
aww.
You could also do that just on the Facebook page. You could also add us on our Twitter. Whatever you like, whatever works for you. We would just love to hear what you guys are working on. While you're on the internet, if you want to support the show, that would mean the absolute world to us. All that you need to do is just tell a friend, join our super secret club, where you get to just be a part of it by telling someone. Or you can leave us a review on Apple Podcast, on Audible, on Podchaser, wherever they let you. Spotify should be letting you leave reviews soon. That helps out the algorithm gods shine their light on this low podcast. And of course, if you have a few bucks, kick it around. We do have a coffee, Cosplay Stitch there, as well as patreon.com/cosplay stitch. For $3 a month, we give you a shout out on the show every single month. And for $5 a month, you get to join our super awesome Cosplay Chronicles! We just wrapped up a session yesterday, and it was pun central. Jaguar Quinn came in clutch.
Oh,
Great.
man.
Poor Dustin. I felt kind of bad for him after a little while.
I liked it.
Pretty good. It was
My
pretty
character was encouraging it.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Had a lot of fun. So yeah, if you've got a few bucks and you want to help pay the lights for the show, we've got hosting fees, we've got website stuff. All of that just goes into bettering the show for you guys.
Oh, nice. Did you know that Fox Beauty has actually updated their website? Rather than foxbeautycosmetics.com, they are now at foxbeauty.store. So FOXX beauty.store, STORE. If you'd like to purchase their not tested on animal, all vegan products, they have a brand new eyeshadow palette that is called Heroes and Villains that has all sorts of like D&D classes, has some really cool gold glitter shimmers that we got to see on the live stream the other day. I'm very excited about it.
Super pretty.
Despite the new website, you can still use our promo code, which is Stitch and Seam, to get that 10% off.
Adding to cart. I forgot. I was like, I want that palette.
Yes. So David, you get to be the showrunner for this episode. I'm so excited.
I am excited too. Before we get into the episode, I wanted to read a statement to you guys and tell me what this invokes in you guys. Meeting bi-weekly to build upon creative and conflict resolution skills, promoting necessary skills to promote character and skill growth, with quick response to assess, proper tools to resolve any number of unplanned situations.
I heard a bad word. No, I'm just kidding.
I hear that this is someone who is good at dealing with lots of problems and complicated situations.
Yes.
Okay.
Very well done.
So I put... Oh, sorry, Mercedes. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just like, I really like that. It's like, oh, that's impressive.
So I actually put all of that on my resume.
Ooh.
And that is me describing Dungeons and Dragons on my resume.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Now, to be fair, I also did add in producer, editor, editor-in-chief, social media manager, and host for a team building podcast with meeting bi-weekly to build a blah, 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 blah. Now, my manager, who I did get hired for the job that I threw that on there for, he did look me in the eyes and go, tell me about this team building podcast that you have. And then I had to look him in the eye and say, well, it's actually Dungeons and Dragons.
Amazing.
So
That's
I'm
beautiful.
still hired.
I still got hired. It's been 4 years later. So what this episode is about is taking your cosplay skills and turning them into something that you can add onto your resume or your CV, depending on where you're located. That is the episode for today.
I've been way excited about this one. Oh my goodness.
So,
Because I've done it before. I've put cosplay on a resume. I know Pannon has too.
Yeah.
it is like a great thing because like a resume is just the ability to sell yourself, and you can be as cocky as you want to be, and you can be really outgoing on your resume when in reality you're much more of a soft-spoken person like myself. It's just a chance for you to sell yourself. But before we jumped into like how do you turn this skill into that skill, I did want to quickly talk about like different types of resume formats, and usually it kind of falls into two categories. The first one is a chronological, meaning like in 2009 I worked at Taco Bell until 2012 and I did these jobs and that was the scope of my field, and then in 2012 to 2000 whatever, and you just kind of go in order either from most recent or starting at the oldest. But how long your resume is, it's entirely kind of up to you. For my recommendations, it's always been no longer than 2 pages.
I like that.
Yeah. Like if and you need to get it succinct, you need to build the resume for the job that you're applying for. So that is unfortunate because that means you may have to write new resumes or modify a resume for every job that you're applying for.
Oh my gosh, it's so annoying to do, but it's worth it.
And worse is when you like accidentally send the wrong resume to the wrong job.
Oh,
and you
like,
sit there and you're just like, oh no.
Well, there goes that opportunity.
I will admit, before I left my last job to my current job, I had applied to 51 different jobs alone at this company.
Wow. That's some dedication.
It was dedication. I wanted those benefits. I got those benefits.
Good job. Dang.
The other one is more functional. A functional resume more highlights the specific jobs that highlight the skills that you're trying to sell into that specific area. It doesn't necessarily need to be timeline, but it does need to focus specifically on what you're applying for and what you are, what past skills you have to bring into that skill set.
Okay, nice. I usually I don't know if this is what you're supposed to do or not, but I usually have like a little bit of both where I'll have like the last few jobs I've had chronologically and then the related skills under each job. So they know like which ones that I've learned at that job that will apply to this new job, if that makes sense.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I usually do mine. And like how a resume looks if you're younger or older is going to be different too. Because I found that like now that I'm older and I've done a bunch of different jobs, I have to really pick and choose what's most important to put on that resume.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? When I was in high school learning how to do resumes, I didn't know until recently, like, they teach you to do a cover page. I didn't even know what a cover page was.
You don't have to do it either.
I know. I was just like, a lot of jobs that we're posting were like, yeah, and a cover page. And I was like, what's a cover page? Anyway.
I will admit that that's one of those ones where I accidentally sent the same cover page, because the cover page is just like, hi, I'm David. I wanted this job. I think that I could bring all of these skills into it, and I think I'd be a great fit. That's it. It's not really doing the timeline or anything.
It sounds
but
like a cover letter.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But, oh man, it hit me, and it just got me because I was applying for so many jobs. I ended up doing like the same cover page over and over again instead of making it unique.
It's so hard. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Job stuff is lots of work.
So we kind of have like a basic of like, this is what a CV is. This is what a resume is. This is what what you're trying to do with it. You want to definitely focus on the accomplishments. You want to sell your cosplay accomplishments. So what's kind of the theme of like what I had words for it and it's gone. I'm sorry, David, to me. Okay. So how, like, what skills do you think would fit on a resume?
It really depends on the job you're going for, because like for me, I have listed specific cosplay like skills and awards that I've won when I was doing applying for jobs in either the fashion industry or like seamstressing positions or things like that. Whereas in like an office setting, I focus more on the logical parts and the like volunteering aspect, that like I volunteer my time, I teach lectures, like things like that. I actually pulled up my last iteration of my resume where I talk about how I've been on like event planning committee for Utah anime promotions. I've taught classes on art and crafts at libraries throughout Salt Lake Valley, as well as conventions throughout the US, things like that. Instead of being like, I was a guest at these because I can dress up in costume, but focus on like the teaching aspect, I guess, of it.
Your presentation skills and public speaking.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that like, if you want to go into a job that requires those kinds of things and you teach panels at events, public speaking, boom, right there. And teaching experience, especially if it's like a hands-on or something where you are teaching something rather than just, you know, talking at people kind of thing, or doing like a presentation or something,
especially if you're doing the more social media aspects with your cosplay, like if you're doing like TikTok and Instagram and you have a whole lot of followers, like you're doing influence work, like you are a public figure, you do a lot of like public speaking, whether it's like live or not, you're you have a professional face that you're giving to your audience. And I don't know, like a lot of businesses would be impressed with that, you know?
Yeah. Before we get too far, Chris offered some really good advice because he's like, what are you guys talking about tonight? And I told him and he's like, oh, that's awesome. Because he has a different set of like skills. For those who don't know, Chris is my husband. He's that person that in the other room that's weird. I don't know. But so he has a different kind of hobby set where he does like lots of sciencey things and like works on vacuum pump technology just for fun. It's weird. But it's just like science stuff. But when he's applied for jobs and things like that, he always sits there and thinks, he's like, okay, so what did I do with these projects that I've worked on, with these things I've done at home? And before he had a ton of job experience, he made sure to include his volunteer experience a bunch and really emphasize that, because he used to volunteer and go show off like a Tesla coil that he built that's taller than me. Not hard to do, but taller than me. And took that out to like a middle school and would present it there and teach kids about electricity that way. And, you know, he added that on as like a volunteer thing and like the different kind of skill sets that were involved with that. With other things like, you know, anything that he was commissioned to do or just kind of built for fun on the side, he sat there and he's like, okay, so what do I feel like I learned from that? Genuinely learned from it. You know, I'm not just going to throw on, project management, but it's like, if I don't, what is project management? What are skill sets within that I have learned about and put those down? Not project management, but time management, capacity. He had a term for that. I don't know project management. He had a term for it, but it's like capacity planning, where it's like, that the place we used to work for, Pannon, was terrible at it. Of like how much of a load of work you're gonna have and planning for it. I will jab that place as much as I can. But it's like having watching what the workload is going to be and planning it out, those kind of things, and being like, okay, then you can list those things. And I think the same thing applies to cosplay. It's like, I have sewing skills. Sorry, my asthma's kicking in because I'm talking without breathing. Okay, there we go. Breathe.
So excited about the topic.
I'm so excited. I forgot to breathe. Okay. Brain is now off track.
No, it's okay. I'll jump in because that actually reminded me of when I was working in a more office setting. I was a team lead supervisor, and one of the things I had listed on my resume when I applied for it was all of the collaborating I did with cosplay groups. I was arranging for the halftime shows during the cosplay contest, and so I put on there about managing a group of volunteers for performances, or being able to lead a team of people, being a volunteer in my community, all kinds of stuff like that, which is you're a cosplay group and you're doing these fun performances, but it does apply to actual workplace experience,
100%.
It's you're working together, and you don't even have to put this underneath the volunteer section. Some of it you can put it under the volunteer section because you are volunteering, right? And as far as putting in sometimes on resumes there's a hobbies section.
Yeah, keep
that for fun stuff. If you want to be I want to be serious about what my cosplay experience is, put that under volunteer, or even if you've done a commission for somebody, throw that in your work history. It's self-employed, right? And commission work, or there's probably a better way to phrase that, but something along those lines, and be kept with deadlines, because commissions, they have deadlines.
Yeah. I had mine under event planning.
Yeah. Event planning. Yeah. Cause that's what you do, Pennon, when you run these contests. It's event planning. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else that would be in there. Cause it's not always just about the sewing or the armor making. Cause it's oh man, where do I put those? It's you can throw that on as fun stuff if that's not what the job is for. Now, if you're getting a job in the fashion industry, or you are applying for a place that does prop making and things like that, then yes, that's even more important to put that on there. Yeah, and be here's a link to my portfolio. Here's all the costumes I've made, all the armor I've made. Do that. Show it off.
Yeah. Well, and even if it's not an arts, crafts, etc., craftsmanship sort of job, you can still mention your body of awards as things been recognized for attention to detail, going above and beyond with my hard work. I've been awarded several times for, it doesn't have to be saying I won a cosplay contest. It can be what specific things that show leadership or that show responsibility did you do to win that award? Because usually the judges will say things oh, this person showed a lot of research and initiative in building their costume. This person had great attention to detail. This person thought outside the box. And those things apply to actual jobs.
Yep.
Definitely.
I've got a congeniality award before, and that I would definitely put on a resume because it shows that I am a team player. Yeah. I have good sportsmanship, and I don't know, I think I like people enough.
I have one of those as our notes of if you're doing a group cosplay, have you scheduled check-ins with progress reports with a set deadline for said project, for a project goal, updated and adapted to any new challenges. It's all about phrasing it to sound the most professional for the job that you're applying it for. So it's not just public speaking, but it's also hey, I've always found writing a manager resume is always the trickiest. But if you can say, hey, I was managing a team and I helped manage the budgeting, our time and time restrictions, our resources, and our morale, then you have the opportunity to talk about we sat down a day before our deadline and we all got mani-pedis. Like, there you go. There's your morale booster.
Yeah.
I made sure we had enough foam. I made sure that we were on time with our deadline. You were making sure, like, I only have $35. I got to make sure I buy the cheap paint, but also not the cheapest paint.
Ex-Angel always brings over snacks whenever we're crafting.
There you go.
That was great morale boost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wrote as well, like, write yourself like the mystery character who you just want to know more about.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
That's one of the hardest things, I think, at job interviews is to get the interviewer to ask you to be interested enough to engage and want to know more about your mystery character.
Definitely. Yeah.
And don't feel bad about having others look at your resume before you turn it in. I struggle with verbiage. You guys hear me on this podcast, you know that. I think on my feet probably a little bit better than I do when I sit down to actually write something down. And I love getting input from others to be like, I'm trying to portray this thing that I did, but I'm not getting the right words. Feel free to get that input. It's only going to make it better. I always tell people when they're like trying to come up with ideas for like a video game or something, and I say people, I mean the kids that I teach. But it's that initial idea that you have, that initial resume that you have is a seed. It's not the final product. And in order for that to become the final product, the tree, the flower, the whatever the seed's going to become, right? You don't know yet. It's just a seed. It needs to be nurtured. And in that way, the way we nurture our ideas, this resume, is by getting input and feedback. And constructive input and feedback. Make sure you go to people who you would like to get that constructive criticism from to build it into something better. Criticism's not all bad.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the things
that's a hard one to accept sometimes.
Definitely. One of the things you had in your notes, David, was whether or not you've been self-taught. And I think that's such a really good one because with so many jobs these days, they will want you to learn a new program or a new set of skills. Or, I mean, a lot of times you're going in knowing little to nothing about the job, but you're wanting to show that you are a quick learner, that your work reflects that. And so being able to say that you have self-taught several different skills is really impressive.
Self-taught and self-driven. It's like you don't need somebody there, prodding you the whole time. When it's something that you are really passionate about. I could go on and on and on about good employers.
I did want to ask, you guys have both done more judging of a convention when it comes to a cosplay contest or a masquerade. How would you sell that on a resume?
An eye for detail.
Ooh, fast.
I know that one I have used before. That's why it was fast. Because it's not only an eye for detail of finding things and seeing things on a costume. But also in my craftsmanship, I love to add those little tiny details. And I love, this is so dumb. I love small details. I love repetitive details. And there's a lot of times that my current boss, he's like, I need you to do this thing, but it's really, really boring and repetitive. And I'm like, that's fine. I'll hop on a podcast. I'm good.
Yeah.
I would also say being able to evaluate your peers in ways that are constructive and encouraging.
Ooh, that's a good way of putting
that. That is good.
Because we always try to do the feedback panels, and we make sure that the people that do come and want to know why they're not improving, why they're not winning the awards and things like that, that we go over things with them and make sure that they understand that they're doing good work and that they just have areas of improvement. And I know that's my least favorite thing in a job is going to your constructive criticism session or evaluations or whatnot.
End of the year review.
Yeah, but employers want employees who are able to, have that, not just like critical thinking, but being able to deliver constructive criticism in a way that's encouraging and not discouraging.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, and being able to recognize that yourself too, of what is constructive criticism and what is just not.
Yeah.
I think with judging, it's also something you could note to be like an accomplished master in your level or in your area of study.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even necessarily have to go in too much into like what that area of study is, but that you're well versed enough to evaluate your fellow peers, or gosh, I feel like so on the spot. I feel like I'm in the job interview this time.
What would you say your biggest weakness is?
I think even with some of it to be like I hate, like, I have such a hard time with job interviews because I get so embarrassed and stuff, like saying anything at all braggy about myself. But like, even if you're judging cosplay contests, you probably are a role model in your community. Like, you probably have taught other people how to make things. You probably have worked really hard to get where you're at. So
with you saying like having like mastery and whatnot, it made me think of locally recognized or regionally recognized or nationally recognized for self-taught skills in this area, because most of the things that we are doing, most of us aren't taking classes. We just watch a YouTube video once or twice. Maybe read a book, and like that counts as self-taught. Like
Pan and globally recognized.
Globally recognized.
Oh.
Me, one day.
At the end of the day, like, I think it always is going to come back to like, write the skills to be sold for the job that you're applying for.
Yes.
Right.
Even a sewing machine would be considered a computer by definition.
Oh, yeah.
And you had to turn things off. You have to turn things back on. Sometimes you troubleshoot it. Troubleshooting of complex mechanical devices. You had to take safety precautions when handling dangerous chemicals. Contact cement. You have to wear a mask. You have to work outdoors. You have to wear gloves. I will say that like all of this definitely was inspired because I saw a tweet that was like, "How do I write that I changed light bulbs on my resume?" And the response was, "Single-handedly managed the successful upgrade and deployment of new environmental illumination system with zero cost overruns and zero safety incidents." So like,
that's amazing,
right? You can write yourself as in depth as you want. If you can somehow fancifully say that you stitched a hem together, like make it work for you.
Oh, I also want to throw on there. Put in there a fun fact.
Ooh, go on.
So I did this on when I was looking for jobs, and I did this on my the one that I sent to the elementary school that I worked at for 2 years. And I put a little fun fact on there. I was like, "Fun fact, my siblings are all named after cars." And guaranteed, it was asked during the interview, "What are your siblings' names?" And it made things just like a lot more comfortable and like fun, because it's like it showed that, one, they read my resume, and two, it's a topic that I'm comfortable talking about and just kind of help ease my stress. And so, throw in a fun fact on there that, like, if they ask a question about it, it can help you relax and be like, "Oh yeah, this." I mean, he asked it at the end of the interview, but it still was like, "Oh, hey."
Sure.
So,
I like that. It gives a chance for like levity and like friendship, and well, not even like friendship, but what is the word I am looking for? Camaraderie.
Camaraderie. It makes
rapport.
you human too.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, it makes you this like human thing instead of just a resume, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and so it's
no,
like,
I like that. Because you're always taught to take it so seriously, but there you can still have fun and
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret. The resume that I sent that school was the like least serious resume I'd ever written.
Really?
Yeah. I went kind of silly with it, and like because I love video games, I put like next to each of my skills like star ratings.
Oh my god.
Like how good I was at each thing. And like I mean, like I was like applying to be a computer lab teacher, but I was like, but I've made all of these games and I like listed all of them and like all these different things. And I'm like, I know this is not going to apply to like anything at this school, but like I'm proud of these things. And like the whole interview too, I talked so much about video games. I came out of that interview and I was like, there's no way I have that job. And then they gave it to me and I was like, what? And that's when I was like, okay, it's okay to be me. And the kids loved it because like anytime they want to talk video games, I was like, yes, please, let's do. So it's okay to be you and put you into your resume. And cosplay, it's a part of you. Put it in there.
Yeah.
I will say I have gone like overly selling it in some because when I mentioned like the like whole representing the US in international competition, I actually had an interviewer be like, well, why do you want to work here? They're like, why don't you go do something better than this? Like, because I need to make normal human money to do these.
That's only a once a year thing. Yeah. I don't think you understand.
I was like, even Superman needs to be Clark Kent sometimes.
Oh, I love that response.
Ooh,
that was
nice.
What I said.
when I was asked about like, can you tell me about this podcast about management and whatnot? And I was like, yeah, it's D&D. Like this is the name of it. This is what I do. And they're like, okay, but how does that actually help you? And I was like because now that I have this rapport where we can assess what is the situation in a quick manner, we work together faster than any other team in my team at this office. Like every single time that something comes up, I can guarantee that the communication flow that I have with this group of people is better than any other group of people on the floor. And they're like, nice. Oh, okay, yeah. So
nice.
Like, be prepared that someone's going to ask you about it. Oh, and yeah. Be prepared to be honest. One, be honest. And two, be ready to sell that like crazy.
And like, I know like interviews wasn't going to be like a huge part of this episode, but like practice interviews with friends. And like, if you know anyone who like does anything like professional too, be like, hey, can I do a mock interview with you? And get their feedback and then practice.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, definitely.
Yes. That is a very good point. Because I am not always prepared for like every single question. I don't think anyone ever is, but the more you practice, the more ready you'll be. And as many of my friends know, like I am the worst liar when I'm put on the spot. Like if I have to make something up, you will know I'm making it up. Yeah. This is why I struggle every time we go to Joanne's and they ask, so what are you making? And I get too shy to say it's a cosplay. So I will just be put on the spot going,
Dude, but the Joanne near where I live, one of the cute little teenagers from ToshoCon works there.
Aw, cute.
And we judged their costume, and they remember and love chatting every time I go, and they're like, oh, you're Fire, you're here again, what you working on this time? And I'm like,
that's fantastic.
It's fun talking with them. I love it.
That sounds way better than listening to me attempt not to lie in front of people.
last time mine was like, it's such a niche game that I don't think this old lady is going to really know what Hollow Knight is. So I'm just going to say, oh yeah, this green fabric is for a Green Knight costume. You know that movie that came out? Very artsy? Oh, I need to see that. That looks so fun. Yeah, Green Knight. There we go.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, I always have a picture ready.
Wow.
Fair.
I'm just like, I'm making this, and I just show them. They're like, oh. I'm like, yeah. And if they know what it is, even better, because then I can nerd out.
Nice. Cool. Well, did we hit all your points, David?
I think we hit all my main points. Remember, you're just selling yourself. You got to specify it to the job that you're applying for. And, if you have any, like, hey, this is how I want to sell it, ask us on our Facebook. Ask on our Discord. Like,
Ooh, yeah.
We've got a whole community of people that want to see you excel. A phrase that I love to use is boys support boys. And let these boys support you. You're one of the boys. Let's
You
support
boys.
each other.
Yeah.
We boys.
NBs can be boys. Girls can be boys. Boys
Yeah.
just support boys.
Peeps support peeps.
Exactly.
Now I'm imagining the little sugary peeps.
Oh, no.
And they're like supporting each other, but also that makes my
They
stomach hurt.
They would get squished.
Squeeze.
All the squish. But yeah, make sure that like you're just selling yourself. You be honest, and make yourself sound perfect for the job that you're applying for.
Yeah, I like it. That was fun.
That is fun.
Do we have any horror stories this week?
Yes, I have a delightful one, and I really, really want to read it.
Ooh, yes, please.
Okay. So this one is from Vaughn of the Dead.
Oh, I love that.
Also, welcome to you, Vaughn, for the hours of entertainment during your long con crunches. We appreciate the compliment.
Oh, yay.
And here's the horror story. So, Vaughn says, a few years ago, I needed an easy costume for the Sunday of MCM Comic-Con in London. I decided to reuse a lemon grab head I had made the previous year. That's why I want to read this, because I love lemon grab.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable! Okay, so note, plaster bandages make a very fragile and hot helmet. And ordered the cheapest Sailor Moon outfit and wig I could find on eBay. The costume actually came out really fun. Vaughn, if you're listening, says you attached a photo, but it didn't come through.
Oh,
So,
no. I want to see this.
I want to see this so bad. And lots of people loved it and wanted pictures. The quirk of this costume was my head was fully covered by the lemon grab helmet, and my skin was covered by a yellow bodysuit I was wearing under the Sailor Moon uniform. I had lots of great conversations throughout the day, but nobody was in any doubt I was really female. My broad husky frame showed through the costume, which is totally cool with me. Or so I thought. Toward the end of the day, I had a male teenager, that's your warning right there, come and ask for a picture. I was so tired from 3 days of con and 2 nights of partying, as well as walking around in 3-inch heeled go-go. Dang, dude. 3-inch heeled go-go boots all day. I could only manage a nod. He quickly came far too close and wrapped his hand around my waist, despite me standing a good 2 feet taller than him, and pulled me in tight and almost off balance, as I wasn't used to heels. I was about to say something as his hand started to slip lower down my body, but his friends took the picture and I managed to pull away. I decided to drop it as I wanted to catch up with my friends and go home, but he turned to me and with a wry smile said, "Thanks." The combination of the exhaustion, partying, and staying up all weekend had taken their toll on my voice box, although I hadn't realized it at this point. And with a voice 2 octaves deeper than my regular manly tone, I replied, "No problem, bro." His smile instantly dropped, and his friends started laughing, and he quickly dashed off into the crowd. Even from within my helmet and through the tights, I had stretched over the mouth to act as a seeing, breathing hole. I could tell he was positively crimson, and I think he may think twice before attempting to get a bit too friendly with femme presenting cosplayers in the future.
Oh, God.
Good, jeez.
So freaking brilliant. I love it. No problem, bro.
1,000 Years Dungeon. Oh.
I love it.
Oh, man. Well, if you listeners at home have a story you want to share with us, whether it be a cosplay horror story, just want to tell us how you're doing, tell us about a convention that you're going to, you can send that to us at cosplaystitchandseam@gmail.com or
you can go to the website, cosplaystitchandseam.com, and fill out the Googly Google form, which, by the way, in about a month or so, still working on it, is going to be updated. Brand new home website. It'll be migrated. Just keep an eye out for that. We'll keep you guys posted.
Yay, I'm so excited.
Or, there you go. You can go to our Facebook page and send us your messages there. We would love to hear about it. You can join our fantastic community while you're on the internet. If you want to help out our show, there are many different ways that you can do that. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. That's completely free. You can leave us a review on Audible or Podchaser. You can also just tell a friend. More social spoons that you may have that I don't, but I'll take it. And of course, we have a Coffee account and a Patreon. And some of the amazing patrons that we need to thank is Morty, Rose Does, Livy Cheney, Yggdrasil, Dr. Steggy, PB and James, Cynics, at Queer Eye Sci-Fi, Hot Riku, Renamira, Jazzy Kofed, Jaguar Quinn, Gloria Shu, Sudi, Stacy Pitt, Shock H, and Silver Deeds.
Oh, thank you so much. That is always, I don't know, I just feel so awed and inspired and humbled when I hear all y'all that are supporting us, whether it's on our Patreon, on our Discord, just saying hi. I just love hearing from you guys. It's great.
I appreciate it so much. Between Patreon and the Ko-Fi, by the way, thank you guys so much. You're helping us to be able to help this grow and get a more professional looking website. I love you guys.
Speaking of new websites, don't forget to check foxbeauty.store. So foxxbeauty.store is their new website. You can still use that same promo code Stitch and Seam to get 10% off your purchase of all vegan, not tested on animal products.
I just tested it.
Oh.
And totally did not impulse buy that new color palette.
Excellent. Thanks as always to Macy Roberts for the use of her music as our theme song, and David Jeffress for his amazing editing. How are those podcasts going, David?
They are going so stinking great. The last Voice Season 2 write-ups are almost done. That means we can get into recording, and hopefully that means we can get the episodes out by April, which would be really, really fun for me. So if you enjoy more of an audio drama story, a single character talking to you, go check out The Last Voice. If you enjoy comic books and enjoy kind of a book club format, you can join me and my friend Dane over on Comic Trades Monthly, where we read Hey Kiddo by Jarrett J. Krasoska. It's a kid's book. You might know him as the writer of Lunch Ladies, a story about lunch ladies who serve food during the day and by night serve justice.
Excellent. Love it.
We even got to interview the author recently, so go check that out, please.
Tight.
Amazing. Well, thank y'all. Did you guys hear that they invented a car that only moves when the driver is silent?
No.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it goes without saying. Bye, guys.
I needed that. I was just at a car show. I killed my dad. Bye.
Bye.